Well, hello there. As many of you, as many of you know, Robert Eggers' Nosferatu remake came out this Christmas, back on the 25th, back on Christmas, and I had the fortune of seeing it back a few nights ago, back on the 27th, and wow, well, just not enough can be said about everything great that went into the making of this movie. It's just one of those movies where everything just seems to come together so perfectly. It's just the thing is just a work of art. It really is. I mean, from the very first sequence where Ellen is crying out, begging for comfort, begging for company, begging for love, basically. And when Count Orlok answers her, and he just flows into her room, and you can hear his voice, his Romanian, just drifting into onto the screen, just drifting, flowing so perfectly, whispering to her, and she starts to levitating and just oh, from that until the very last sequence, the very end of it, the climax, it's just wow. It's so well put together, and it's so surreal. It's so otherworldly, but it's so authentic and real. You know, like they actually went into a time machine, went back to 1838 and to Germany, and just recorded the whole thing. You know, and enough cannot be said about the actors in this movie. I mean, everyone: Bill Skarsgård, Lily Rose Depp, Willem Dafoe, Nicholas Holt, Aaron Tyler Johnson, Emma Corrin. I mean, hell, even the assistant doctor and Mr. Knock. Everyone, the actors did amazing. I mean, Lily Rose Depp, my God, her acting was just amazing. The physicality and the all the things she had to do. I mean, the eyes rolling back into the head was just all the possession scenes, all the dream sequences and nightmare sequences, and the feeling of hopelessness, the feeling of isolation, of impending doom, of inevitable doom that she portrays. And yet you feel so terrible for her because she's such a sweet woman. She's such a Ellen Hutter. She's such a kind, innocent woman that just wanted love, that just wanted bonding, that just wanted comfort. And here she is afflicted by this evil, afflicted by, Count Orlok, death itself incarnate, evil incarnate. It's just amazing. I mean, Lily did an amazing job in that movie. She really did. She was just amazing. And Bill Skarsgård, my God, his accent, man. His accent is his Romanian accent is amazing. I mean, the accent, the physicality he puts in to the character. You get the feeling that I mean, first of all, Count Orlok is enormous in this movie. He's at least 6 feet tall, maybe 6'8", 6'9", maybe up to 7 feet. I don't know exactly how tall he is, but he's enormous. He's huge in this movie, and you get there's the feeling of Count Orlok is big and imposing. He's very physical. He's massive. He's powerful, but at the same time, he's a walking corpse. He's 400 years old. He's an undead thing, an undead monster, an undead creature of the night, and yet he's looks so powerful, and yet sometimes it seems like he's laboring to even get up and walk at times. I like how they captured that dichotomy, that black and white, that contradiction within him. He's so powerful and so evil, and yet he's so decrepit and nasty and rotting and just oh. The East European accent, yes. He did a good job with that. Although the one complaint that I did have was that I think at certain points they kind of overdid the heavy breathing and the thickness of the accent, because sometimes his words are a bit jumbled and you can't really quite make out what exactly he's saying from time to time. But other than that, his portrayal of Count Orlok was just amazing. I mean, this is a spoiler review, but after the first night, when Thomas wakes up in the morning, he goes to his sarcophagus, gets the pickaxe, and tries to kill him, and man, when he gets up out of the grave, my God. I love that scene. It's so cool. I mean, I enjoy the entire sequence, right from when Thomas makes it to his to Orlok's abode, and all the way until he escapes. I just love that whole sequence. Those sequences. It was just magical between Bill Skarsgård and Nicholas Hoult. It was just great. It's great. But Nicholas Hoult did a great job as well. He really conveyed the ideal man, the good, upright, hardworking, the good guy, the everyman, good, hardworking, morally upright, everyman that he portrayed in that movie. But when the when the darkness comes up, it's just he does a great job of portraying someone that's fighting evil, struggling against evil, and it's just amazing. Of course, Aaron Taylor Johnson and Emma Corrin were Mr. and Mrs. Harding. They did a good job as well. They did a good job. Tell you what, I think one of the scariest scenes in the whole movie was when Emma Corrin's character, Anne Harding. The house. It's in the dead of night, and it's just pitch black in the house. And she has a lantern. She's holding up a lantern, and she's looking around the house, and you can hear the creaks in the wood. You can hear You're just expecting for Count Orlok to show up and just bleed her dry, and she's just looking around. It's pitch black, and it's just. Yeah, I love that scene. That scene was amazing. Aaron Taylor Johnson did a good job as well. He seemed like there was a bit of a vulnerability with him and his character. You could see it in the eyes. He's kind of he's just a regular, nice, good good-hearted guy, and he's just in over his head in this situation. He just can't believe what the hell he's witnessing, what he's going through, and it proves to be too much, and he just nips it in the bud. And spoilers, but it's a spoiler review, so But how about that Willem Dafoe? It's Dr. Von Franz, man. He's just. He was the only character that really, truly, that really understood what Ellen was going through. Had an idea of what was going on. He was the. I feel like he was the person that empathized and sympathized with Ellen the most during the whole movie, in which she was experiencing and going through. And he did a good job. Willem Dafoe did a good job of balancing the aspect of Dr. von Franz that was, a doctor as a man of science and reason, and yet he was also a astute in the occult sciences, studying the esoteric, and he was able to reconcile the two and realize that both had merit in their own context. And he cracked it. He was quite comical as Dr. Von Franz, I thought, especially when he schnapps anyone, schnapps. But the guy that did play Dr. Knock was just savage and crazy and all over the place. And I was actually surprised. I know there's a little bit of occultism and esoteric in the original Nosferatu, because there's, the writing that Mr. Knock gets from his letter from Count Orlok in the original. But yeah, they really experiment with that angle, the esotericism in this movie. It works for the most part. I mean, personally, that's not the route I would have gone. I would have gone with a more simple, straightforward, straight ahead vampire. Just not. I mean, the esotericism and the occult stuff was a little extra, but that's not the route I went. Mine would have been much more straight ahead. But it was interesting that they added that element into the movie, I thought. Thought the esotericism was interesting. And then listen to Dr. Von Franz and the other doctor trying to figure out which entity Orlok actually was possessed by, or his magical rights to. But the folklore and the esotericism and the mysticism in the movie was very interesting. I did like the foreshadowing in the Gypsy Romani scene at night when Thomas wakes up from his sleep and goes outside and he sees the Romani people doing a little ritual. They'll go to an alleged vampire's grave, and they have this the Virgin Romani girl on the white horse, and like the symbolism of that and the foreshadowing for Ellen later in the movie, and of course. And I love that scene. And another thing that seemed a bit weird is that I didn't understand what happened to the Romani people. I don't know if they just fled after Thomas witnessed their little night soiree, or if Orlok killed all them off in the night and Thomas just had amnesia of it, or. But I think the running off after Thomas witnessed the little ritual was most likely what happened, but it's kind of left up in the air, up to interpretation what happened. And another thing, the cinematography in this movie is just off the charts. It's amazing. I mean, the snow falling, the light tints, the coloration that they use, especially in the opening sequence, that pale light blue color, trying to match the palette of the original when they used the blues. I thought that was really good. I like that. The movie's just beautifully shot. The sequence where Thomas is walking from the end where the Romani people are all the way to Orlok's castle is just mesmerizing. So surreal and so fantastic. It's just wow. When he's in the woods and he gets to the crossroads and right before the carriage comes to take him to Orlok's castle, the woods are just so thick and so dense, and it's just pitch black. He looks like he's walking right into the depths of hell. It's just amazing what Eggers has done with this movie. It's so the symbolism and the metaphor and the visuals are just amazing. Just amazing. And of course there's the little kerfuffle going around about Count Orlok's mustache. I mean, personally, that's not the route I would have gone. Personally, I would have made him look more like the classic, Count Orlok with the shaved head and no mustache. But that's just me. I would have had his ears shaped kind of like horns, have had these just enormous fangs. I would have kept the physicality and the everything else, the rotting look as well, but just make him look devilish, evil. But they went the route they went. They wanted him to. Eggers wanted for Count Orlok to look like a dead 400-year-old Transylvanian nobleman, dead Romanian nobleman, and that's the angle they were going for. I really like the costume design for Orlok, though, the fur overcoat and the undercoat, and thought that was a good touch. Make him look like an East European nobleman in the wintertime wearing that overcoat. They really did a good job of concealing Count Orlok's appearance with the shadows and the framing and the camera angles and all that. That was good too. Just kind of get the viewer guessing. You get glimpses of him, but not the whole enchilada all at once, so to speak. You don't really get a good look at him until Jonathan tries to kill him in the castle. But well, you get too much. You get to see too much of him in that case because full frontal, right there. But the writing and the storytelling was really good. I mean, I felt like it could have been just a tad shorter. I'm not complaining because I don't mind long movies. In fact, I prefer epics myself. But I felt like, well, it could have been just a tad more action, in body count and death. But they did a good job overall. The plague scene was kind of, the point of that. But I liked how they went with the a different angle with how Count Orlok fed, biting his victim's chest instead of what's cut, the throat, like almost all vampires do. But well, portrayed in film at least. But thought that was interesting. They still had the sexual elements in this movie as well. When Count Orlok bites Thomas for the first time on the chest, and he just starts draining him, it looks like he's it's very sexual, the manner that Orlok moves, and thought that was kind of homoerotic right there, but just a bit, not much. But vampires are naturally a very sexual thing, very sexual character. But and another thing too, I think I would have had Orlok killing more people with his claws, his talons too. That would have been an interesting look at, I think. And just shredding, drinking blood, and just going crazy with it. And in the original Nosferatu, you see Orlok as a werewolf for a brief second. I thought that would have been interesting if they. It was when Thomas Hutter was staying at the inn with the Romani people, and I thought that would have been interesting if they had like a night attack in which Orlok is a werewolf and he, takes care of business, and we get a little more action in that regard. But Such is life. We didn't get it, but it is what it is. I personally would have added that in there, but teach their own. This is very unlike your run-of-the-mill horror film, especially horror that's coming out today with, Terrifier and everything else. But I remember watching it, the movie, in the theater right there, and thinking to myself, yeah, not everybody's going to appreciate this movie. In fact, most people think it's kind of long and drawn out and boring because it's not up there to their specific taste. But because we've been so inundated with action-packed movies and fast-paced, go, 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 action, action, action. And this is a slow burn. It takes its time. It builds the tension and the story up. And by the time that last scene and sequence happens, it just blows up right at you. It's Orlok's death is just amazing. Like, it legitimately gave me goosebumps when I saw him die. It was just crazy. It was so emotional and so powerful and impactful. It was just like you just felt it in your chest when he dies. It's just so intense. It's probably one of the most intense cinema deaths I've had the privilege of watching. It was just amazing. Another crazy moment was when Orlok kills Anne Harding and the two daughters. My jaw legitimately dropped to the ground when I saw him do it. I'm like, oh my god, Jesus, he is a. That's when you know you're dealing with a real monster. Just the embodiment of evil. Yeah, that shocked me. I wasn't expecting that at all. And I got goosebumps when Orlok was on the ship and increased thy thunders. The music rising to the crescendo, and it was just amazing. I got goosebumps watching that. It was just, man. I also liked how they captured the snow in this movie too. It was very artistic, very surreal, very picturesque, almost like a painting, a moving painting, a work of art. And that's exactly what this movie is. It's a work of art. It's not everyone's taste. It's not the typical blood and guts, grind 'em up horror movie. It's much more of a dark fantasy, gothic tale about a young woman who is desperate for love, is desperate for connection, is desperate for comfort, desperate for intimacy. She calls out, she cries out, begs for it, and to her misfortune and a lot of other people's misfortune, pure evil answers the call. And she pays with her life to stop that evil. Guys, definitely give this movie a go. Check it out. Go see it in the cinema. Go see it on the big screen, IMAX, if you can. Like, I'm debating whether I should go see it in the IMAX with one of my buddies. He's been wanting to see it for a while, and I might take him up on that. Alright, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Happy 2025. New Year's Eve tomorrow. Hope you guys are doing good. Love you all. Be blessed. Have a good one.